Hi there, welcome to an outrageous 10-minute moan where I can't believe these words are leaving my mouth. I have to report a young Scottish schoolgirl sexually abused in a high school in Scotland by an immigrant, and the school refused to phone the police. Now, you'll need to forgive me, right, because I'm feeling a bit emotional making this video, because within the last half hour I have been contacted by a mother of a child, a mother that I know, a real person, not some make-believe fantasy story, but an actual real person with a real story. And this mother got notified by her school that her child was sexually abused at school. And when she asked what the school done about it, it was a massive sum of sent the boy home. We weren't able to tell her, even if he's suspended or expelled, that it was now in the hands of the school board. But they were not going to phone the police. Now, I just think there's so many facets to this story that are just so wrong, it's unbelievable. Forget about anybody's race, colour, creed, or where they were born, where they came from, right? A young girl has been sexually abused in a school in Scotland, and that school do not phone the police. Oh my God, what bit of this is difficult for people to understand? It doesn't matter that the boy's an immigrant, but did it? If he wasn't an immigrant, would they have phoned the police? Well, unfortunately, I don't know. But when you hear the full information and you know what's going on in the world right now, and particularly on our doorstep, then you can be forgiven for thinking that if this kid was native Scot, this would have had a different outcome from a school. How can a school expect to instill standards and discipline? All these things that you're trying to teach your kids, and you do not inform the police. Now, Rick, even if this was an alleged assault, right, and you didn't have the amount of witnesses who witnessed this, let's just pretend for a minute it was just a young girl with a complaint, right? You, as a teacher, are not trained to deal with that situation. That person needs people that deal with law and order to deal with her issue. And they can investigate whether any criminality was involved or not. That is not the job of a school. This is absolutely disgusting. There's two things that really disgust me, and I'm actually not sure which one I think's worse, right? I think it's got to be this young girl that's had to go through this traumatic experience. That's got to trump anything. But the fact that a school managed by adults, apparently professional educators, did not pick up the phone and phone two people, the mother and the police. This is beyond pale. This is just, I've dealt with some harrowing stories, right, through my time doing this podcast, and I've interviewed people with horrific stories, things that just shouldn't happen in society. But if you are a school that refuses to phone the police when a young girl has been sexually assaulted, or even claims to have been sexually assaulted, which is not the case in here, by the way, that is absolutely disgusting. And when we're in a society, in a position in our communities where we're even considering that the reason they haven't done it may or may not be based on the background of that child, it's even more disgusting. But the one thing that I do think is a bit weird, if the school genuinely believed nothing had happened, which is not their job, right? But let's just pretend for a minute they had spoke to people that were there and witnessed it, and they decided that this thing hadn't happened, you wouldn't send the kid home. But they have. So that's them basically admitting something's happened. And to not phone the police, even a school should not be in a position to make a decision whether criminality is involved here or not. We have people that are trained to do that. They're called police, right? Your job is to educate people. And I'm struggling to grasp where the life lessons are for any kid at that school, because the whole school will know about it. Mark my words, that's how it works, right? I'm really unsure and unable to figure out what the lessons are to anybody in that school who will know what happened and will know the outcome and will know that their school did not phone the police. Now that's them set a precedence. Because if you do not phone the police when a child is sexually assaulted, when do you phone the police as a school teacher? This is absolutely ridiculous. Now, I should maybe have, and I don't right now, but that might change, right? I should maybe have a glimmer of sympathy for these people, because I don't know who is guiding these people to these decisions. It could be the school, or it could be people higher up the food chain. But either way, you make that decision as an individual. And I don't think, listen, I run a kids' football club with loads and loads of kids in it. Thankfully, touch wood, I've never had to make a decision similar to this. But there is no decision. I couldn't live with myself. My conscience would not allow me to not do the right thing in this instance. And I keep saying it. Now, although I'm quite happy to accept what happened here, if I didn't know the mother, it's just a story. It's just something that may or may not have happened. But I can't emphasise enough, even if this girl, this young lady, young child, was doing nothing more than making a complaint, and let's just take another scenario where nothing happened. It is not the school's job to decide whether there's any criminality involved in this thing. It doesn't matter. They shouldn't be trying to judge what's went on. They should be trying to make the decision which is right. Because, let me tell you how this pans out. I don't know how big this school is. I know where it is, and I'm not going to put out that information. I know the nationality of the boy. I know the age of the girl. I know everything about this case, right? But I'm not putting that out. I will talk about this again going forward, but right now is not the time and place. But what they've basically told half of this school, the female half of this school, is, we won't phone the police if you think you've been sexually assaulted. I'm really struggling to contain my pure emotion here, as you can probably tell. This isn't as angry as I am. This is horrendous in so many levels. It just beggars belief. And the mother has asked me to do her a favour. And that is, if I get into Hollywood, will I change what happens in schools, because education's in the bin. And I can't guarantee that, because unfortunately, if I am successful, I'll be in a room with 128 other people making decisions, and I only got one vote out of the 129. But what I will promise her, and her daughter, probably more importantly her daughter, is, if I get in that building, this will be one of the big list of things, and it's growing every day, that I will bring up and I will fight for, and I will not listen to any bullshit responses. Stuff like this is just outrageous. This isn't even opinion based. Your opinion cannot be anything other than, young lady sexually abused, sexually assaulted, phone the police. Even if you disbelieve her, even if that was a position of the school, this is not up for debate. If we don't do it, we have lawlessness in our schools. The next girl that happens to, what's the point in even telling the teacher? What is the point? There is no point if that is the standard we set today, because the precedence has been set. This is just stunning. could probably go on for an hour with this, and I'm not going to, because I'm actually upset talking about it. The more I talk about it, the more it's in my head, the angrier I'm becoming. And I just hope that this young girl, it doesn't define her life, unless it defines it in a positive way. And that could actually happen, and I hope it does. That she can either A, be not affected by this at all going forward at some point in the future, or B, she takes strength for this and she does something about it for the next generation. Because I'm getting too old to sort out everybody's problems, and we need the youngins that are coming through to install standards, discipline, decency back into our society, because it's sadly missing just now. And I don't know how any of the teachers involved in this debacle today can sleep at night. So if you want others to hear this video and do a few things for me, do 3 things. Click the thumbs up, leave some comments, and share it far and wide. Because this is a travesty. This is disgusting, and this needs to stop. The only people that can stop it are the people in Scotland, because the politicians are incapable. I'll rephrase that. The current politicians are incapable. We need to change that as well. So unless you're the type of person that thinks assaulting a young girl that way in a school, or you're one of the adults who deals with it by not phoning the police, and not you, but
everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.